Antonio Gaudi was born on June 25, 1852 in Catalonia. At a young age, Gaudi was interested in architecture. He later attended school in Barcelona, where most of his great works would be. Gaudi graduated from the Provincial School of Architecture in 1878. After graduating, he learned and worked with Victorian-style architectures, and it was not soon after he developed his own style. Gaudi was considered to be part of the Catalan Modernista movement, adding a nature-based organic style. Gaudi's works were composed of juxtapositions, two things that contrast each other, of geometric masses and animating the surfaces with patterned brick or stone, bright ceramic tiles, and floral or reptilian metalwork. 1876 was a bad year for Gaudi. His mother, who was 57, died, as well as his brother, who was 25. At the Paris World's Fair in 1878, he showcased a few of his works. One patron was impressed by his work, and in a few years he began working on major works like the Sagrada Familia in 1883. Gaudi would later die on June 10, 1926 in Barcelona, Spain, getting hit by a trolley car. Gaudi died while still working on the Sagrada Familia.
One of Gaudi's most famous works was the Sagrada Familia, which he devoted 40 years of his life to, and it still remains unfinished. The Sagrada Familia was originally the inspiration of a bookseller named Josep Maria Boccabella. Boccabella gave the job to Francisco de Paula del Villar. The construction began in 1882, but in 1883 Boccabella resigned and the job was given to Antoni Gaudi. He changed the design of the church dramatically. However, during the Spanish Civil War in 1936, many churches were destroyed, but luckily the Sagrada Familia survived and the architects continued with its construction. During its construction, Gaudi used figures of animals and plants to design the church with very different style. Unfortunately, Gaudi accidentally died in 1926, and the work of the Sagrada Familia was not completed. Nowadays, the construction work still continues, but nobody knows where it comes to its final stage. It is expected to be completed in 2041. Today there are 8 towers, but in the end there will be 18 towers. 12 towers will represent the 12 apostles, 4 will represent the 4 evangelists, Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John. 1 will represent the Virgin Mary, and the tallest tower will represent Jesus. You can clearly see the difference between the newer sections and the stained and weathered sections. Gaudi's unexpected and sudden death is mourned throughout the city, and he is now buried in the Capilla del Carmen crypt inside the Sagrada Familia. The Sagrada Familia is now a famous symbol of the city, and it has more than 3 million visitors per year.
Antoni Gaudi's art showed his passions in life, including architecture, nature, and religion. Gaudi was very skilled at ceramics, glass staining, carpentry, and working with metals. In fact, he introduced a new technique called trencatus, which is a type of mosaic created from broken shards of tile. Gaudi studied the different building structures around the world from places like India, Persia, Japan, and Egypt. These influences can be seen in his early work like the Capriccio. However, the style that most influenced him was the Gothic revival. There was a time in the 19th century where architects were trying to revive the medieval Gothic architecture. This influenced many works, including the Sagrada Familia. Then Antoni Gaudi moved to a new style called Modernisme, which was an architectural style that occurred in Catalonia and Barcelona. This style consisted of the design and decorative arts. Gaudi's best example with Modernisme style is Park Güell.
Park Güell is a famous work of architecture made by Gaudi located in Barcelona, Spain. It is about 188 yards long, almost of length of 2 football fields. The park was started in 1900 and is finished in 1914. The park has giant stone structures and unique mosaic sculptures. Park Güell was intended to be a private park for 60 different families, but that idea failed. In 1906, Gaudi used much of his life savings to buy a house in the park for he and his family. Eventually, the park became the city's property in 1923. In 1963, the Antoni Gaudi's house was turned into a museum which contains many works. The houses in the parks are well-camouflaged artificial structures. The highest point of the park leaves you with a full view of the entire city. At that point, there is a stone bench that was molded by a woman taking off her pants and sitting on the soft cement. Although Park Güell is not completely finished, it still remains one of Gaudi's masterpieces.